Ever since I started to venture into the single-player gaming territory back in December of 2021, I've made a goal to play and beat 100 games to further have a better understanding of the media. And so far, I have played a lot of games. I dueled as a vengeful samurai, I climbed a mountain, and I bullied stormtroopers with a dual-bladed lightsaber. But I never, and I mean I never thought I would experience something so brilliant like Now, you may be asking, FF7, this just a goose. And you're right, but it's much more than that. It's an Untitled Goose game. This game has to be the most jarring, funniest, wackiest, and the most trolliest indie games on the market. It's a short and sweet game that doesn't have an overly complex story or a gameplay loop that needs an absolutely mastery to master. It's just a relaxing video game, and I'll tell you why in this mediocre review. Gooses have either been a rose or a thorn to people's backs. On one hand, they can be a person's best buddy, a pet to hang out with, but a goose. On the other hand, though, oh gosh. This game just takes heavy inspiration from real life, and I mean heavily. Gooses in real life often do not care about humans at all. They chase you, attack you, take your coffee, and do an aerial assault by pooping on your car windshield. Untitled Goose Game, however, takes this aggressiveness of the goose and plops it into the game, but in control of the player. Untitled Goose Game is a game that just makes you a goose. All the goose's awkwardness, aggressiveness, its feeling of destroying everything in its path is firmly in your hand, and your dire goal is, well, ruin everyone's day. The game is a stealth game, but not in the sense you think. Unlike Hitman or Dishonored, there isn't really much stealth involved. The humans know you're there and think of you just as a silly goose. But this is where the goose comes in. You're given a list, and your job is to use them to ruin people's day and actively annoy them. The game has a very simple gameplay mechanic. There's no powers or unrealistic combat, it's just the actions of a goose. Flapping your wings, grabbing things with your beak, waddling away hilariously with a piece of bread lodged into your beak is almost everything the goose can do. And the most gracious gameplay mechanic of all, better than Jin Sakai's sword, better than Cloud Stripe's enlarged weapon, and better than Celeste's dash mechanic, a honk button. A dedicated honk button. How did this not win Game of the Year? But how the game executes the gameplay with those mechanics are great. They use everyday things and make them a tad bit annoying so that the goose can execute them. For example, one of the things to do is get the groundskeeper wet. To do that, you turn the water faucet, the sprinkler turns on, and nothing happens. You realize that the groundskeeper is at the other side of the garden, so you wait again for the perfect time to strike, and then the groundskeeper finally ventures into the vicinity of the sprinkler. You turn the faucet and get him wet. He turns to open the gate, and there's your opportunity to get in the garden. It's moments like this where the Untitled Goose Game excels. Experimentation. Trying and trying again to execute well what is hilarious gimmicks. There are also multiple ways to finish these annoyances and multiple ways to destroy any area. There's also something in the game that I would like to call a lack of consequence. The game doesn't end after you get caught every time, and it doesn't give you a game over screen. This gives player no sense of urgency in areas, making the game more relaxing and accessible. You fail, try again. It's mechanics like this that just make the game what it is. It just expects you to mess up. It's a goose, for God's sake. If a human sees you, that you stole an item or is missing from their property, they'll find it and chase you if you have it. This results in them taking it, but you can take it back. Distract them by taking another item, then taking the coveted item as it drops on the ground from the human hands. Goofy mechanics like this enhance player comedy. The gameplay mechanics are silly and designed like a Tom and Jerry or Looney Tune cartoon, and it's your job to further create them. This is well seen in the to-do list, where every objective is executed in ways that are funny, silly, and satisfying. The goose is great to control, the gameplay is creative, and yes, it really just makes you feel like a goose. Untitled Goose Game's playground is just extremely perfect as the setting for this game. Paired with its simplistic art style, Untitled Goose Game just gives the player, or the goose, multiple locations that might be found in a city. For example, you might be on a small street, pub, or a person's backyard. All these locations come off as extremely relatable, and what's in them is extremely interactable. Almost every item is interactable with you picking up items or knocking down carelessly. The world boasts a world full of imaginative mayhem waiting to be created. The art direction is brilliant too. Its vibrant colors and simplistic detail are what make the game whole. It all feels like one of those children's book illustrations. It looks like it's painted, but it also has a cartoon style in it, especially seen in the gameplay. But with the world and cheesy knocking down of everyday items, it's the pairing of the sound design and music that comes along with the goose. What makes Untitled Goose Game pop is, well, its sound design. It's intricate, while simple and innocent, yet put into a way where it fits the game almost perfectly. When the goose runs or waddles in water, its faint steps of the feet or the swishy movement of water adds a part of immersion to the game. Everything you pick up, from paintbrushes to pots to flowers, it just gives a sound that enhances that greatly. When you do something devious, the sound design greatly reflects that. And also reflecting that is its music. Its soundtrack is unique. It felt like a musician following the goose and documenting it on its hilarious journeys. When the goose does something, the music progressively gets louder like a cheesy action movie. And when you're innocently beside someone, the music slows down to a Sesame Street style innocent stealth soundtrack. It just blends so much music genres and makes it in hilarious ways, and it makes it like it's in the goose's perspective. The only thing you need to do is just mess up everything, and the music will greatly represent that. It's like a Looney Tune cartoon chase scene every time the music steps in, and how it uses it at those moments are excellent. From the gooses on Loonies to the next presidential debate candidate to memes, the goose is an essential part of our society, and this is what the Untitled Goose Game is. It feels like a meme stretched out to a game, but it's also a game to goof around it. It just puts you as a goose, an innocent looking goose ready to cause havoc around everywhere it steps on. While it's short and lacks content for those who really love the game, it provides a short yet enthralling experience at the same time. It's funny yet clever gameplay, the colorful yet vibrant world, and the piano-style music stitches it together as a big Mr. Goose masterpiece of an indie game. So the Funny Goose Game gets a funny rating of a 10 out of 10. And I just want to say, guys, we just reached 200 subscribers pretty fast, which is crazy. 2 of my videos have 1,000 views. I think one hit 2,000. I think that was a Celeste video. I did not expect that to do as well as it should be, but thank you guys so much. The support has been amazing. I'm sorry about the lack of content. There's been a lot of editing issues, script issues, but I hope you guys like this video, and I'll this summer, so I'm gonna keep pumping out videos for you guys. So I'll see you guys. So that's the end of another mediocre review.